Hey everybody, Jeffrey Hauser, author of the Learn With series, and I blog a lot and sometimes I create these screencast videos. What I want to talk about today is some issues my team had upgrading NG material from Angular 12 to 15. Primarily the issues we believe are between the 14 and 15 upgrade. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to show you this app and our problems related to styling of NG material. So I've created an app with basically a select with grouped options. I'm going to show you what it is. Let's go. Oh, so there we go. Small enough so you guys can see it. So group 1, a bunch of items. Group 2, a bunch of items. Group 3, and a bunch of items. What we want to do, not a default style, but we want to sort of apply styles and bold this group 3. In my real world applications, we're often tweaking a lot of things than just bold, but this will be for purpose of principle. And I think this sample comes from something I had done in a screencast I had done in the past about how to style these internal elements. So let's go into ngDeep. I'll show you what I did. First in the UI, then the code. You see this group 1, group 2 are bolded. So if I zoom in on group 1, what we see is there's this sort of ngDeep style, and let's see how that's set up. So don't care about as is. I'm going to look at the ngDeep stuff. So what I did is I applied this custom class, bolded label ngDeep, into the mat option group, which creates the groups within the mat select. So mat select, mat option group, mat option are all ng material components. So inside my components specific CSS, I use this ngDeep tag and then specify mat op group and then my custom style, and then within that it'll find the mat out group label and change that to bold. So that's what's going on here. ngDeep basically makes these styles available to the global audience. I don't like using it, but so often end up with this secondary way. So I did the same thing with mixins, and I'm going to zoom in once again on group 1. You see here this is bolded. And what we do here, without using ngDeep, I created basically a global style, and the style is a CSS called a mixin in the SCSS world. So it just sort of drills down to the mat output label and applies the bold there. So what we have here, go to the next one. I did bolded label mixin at the same opt group level, and it'll apply the bold here. And in my sort of global styles.SCSS, I created this, the mixin for the label bold. Inside the opt group, we're going to look for the bolded label mixin, and then apply a font weight to bold to the mat group label. So these are the two approaches which I think I drilled into in completely different screencasts, and I don't want to dwell on them here. But we ran into issues with this sort of approach when upgrading to 14.15. This sample is actually Angular 11. I believe Angular 11. So what I'm going to do Angular 11. What I'm going to do probably off screen is I'm going to upgrade it to Angular 14. Then I'm going to come back and go from 14 to 15 sort of live and discuss some of the CSS issues we had around that. We have the app updated to Angular 14. So 14. It was a little trickier than I expected. The 11 to 12 and 12 to 13 did not go smoothly, but 13 to 14 went super smoothly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the browser. Oh, actually there it is. I use Angular Material, I use Windows, upgrade from 14 to 13, and I'm just going to do this live and record it. I am pretty sure, actually I don't think that. Yeah. So, yes, I'm on version 16 something of Node, so that should work fine for Angular 15. It's weird that TypeScript is not being updated automatically as this process based on these instructions. I'm going to ignore this. Actually, let's do npm update TypeScript. It was 4.8. I'm pretty sure, and we're 4.6. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the command off the top of my head. And it didn't update there. Let's try. There, that did it. Okay, so previous updates, I think automatically updated the TypeScript version, but here I did it manually because that's the way I'm interpreting these instructions. So check, check, all done. Now I'm going to try this. Okay, to me that looked like it did it. Did not update the CTK or Angular material yet, which is here. So it's weird that it didn't update the CDK. For the moment, I'm not going to care about that. I'm going to try to update material, which is the next step. I ran this successfully. Oh, and that is updating the CDK. So cool. We're not using any TypeScript that relies on keyframes, so that's no issue in my super simple app. Let's check the TS config. I don't have an enable IV. That I'm seeing anywhere, so I'm going to move. No controlled value accessors. I think this one should be fine because like such a simple app, I'm not using a lot of stuff that you would normally see in Angular. No issue here, no issue here. Not using iframes at all. Not dealing with tests for the purposes of this, and I don't have any services set up for such a super simple application. Yeah, and this is where we really got hung up. I'm going to bring this up, and we're using just a select here. Style changes only. A lot of these components are style changes only. Like form field, that's an important one, has some API changes, and dialog has some changes. Chips hung us up, but for the purposes of this sample, we're just really using a select. So some style changes. Scroll down, really they're trying to make it, the way they're pitching it is making it easier to upgrade in the future by adhering closer to the material design spec. I'm not going to go through the comprehensive list of changes, but I'm going to look at these migrate stuff. And basically, we already updated this, but this automatically puts the application to use legacy, which using old stuff. Basically, what we want to run, which I haven't run yet, is this conversion. And that is where I think we're going to start. Gonna leave blank for all. That's actually a creative tool. I am just going to select all, even though we know I'm only using a select, which I assume is in here somewhere. Anyway. So tells me it updated these files. Let's start with app component. SCS. So this is actually sweet. It updated this. I don't remember what it was before, and it updated this one. That is nice. In styles, we had the same. It automatically updated. And then the app module was updated. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what the update was there. We're not doing a partial migration, so let's do see how this all went. So our Grouped select box as is normal. Style with ng deep once again. That was able to update it. And we see the, probably here, we see our ng deep applying a font weight. I'm surprised this says 700 instead of bold, but maybe nevertheless. And with the mix-ins, also is able to fix that directly. And this is it with font weight 7. I'm surprised the font weight is changing into a number instead of just bold, but that's almost super convenient for us. So that's actually incredibly best case scenario. What we had in my own experiments with my own team with a real application, which is a lot more complex, it was not changing these sub ones. So it was leaving them as the old ones. And then for a lot of them, we had to go through and sort of drill down and sort of guess and experiment to figure out what the new styles were. And I've seen online a lot of people complaining about how complex it is and the changes just made upgrading their apps tedious. For this simple application, not an issue, but we experienced the same thing when upgrading the application. So yeah, this is all, it went way smoother than I thought it would, and I'm pretty happy with it. I assume there's none of these within the application. So no, there's not. So yeah, we are good to go. I'm sure you're all sort of familiar. If you need to drill down into things, you can use the Explorer in Chrome to find out what the class names are that you need to change and modify. And with that said, I will leave us off. Be sure to like and subscribe and buy my books and all that jazz. Thank you.